And we're live on Transformers. We're live on Transformers the show, where we're going to discuss the latest news. Oh no, my YouTube videos on at the same time.
Oh no, are we getting feedback?
I was getting feedback on who's doing this talking in this sexy Scottish accent. It's me. But, yeah, so it's Transformers in brief news on the latest up Transformers 40 of special stuff, which has just been revealed yesterday. You know, Sandstorm, your Grimlock, your Shockwave, and some other awesome cool stuff. And this news is open to everyone, even people who do not own a Robeson Grimlock.
I feel like you're going to be unbearable now.
Well, I was before. Now I'm like personified.
All right, more. Shall we crack straight on into it then? Do you think?
Yes.
So it's the 40th anniversary reveals, I suppose, which we need to have a look at. Now, how do I? There we go. Yay! Learning is good. So yeah. So this is the 40th anniversary reveals, and the big one, maybe, I don't know actually, but the big one for me anyway was the Legacy United Leader class Sandstorm, which I think we all knew was coming because we'd seen the listings that had been leaked by JT Prime 17, I think it was, but we hadn't had a look at it. We didn't know what it was going to look like, and here he is in all his G1 toyetic glory. As a G1 fan yourself, Jamie, any thoughts?
Well, I've got plenty of thoughts, and to be quite honest with you, and it's a little bit of me died inside, to be honest, because I could see I was excited. I liked the deco, I liked everything about it, I loved it, and I looked at the face, and and I know there's people who like old toys and stuff like that, and I think, well, you know, your time's up. You don't want an old Ironhide, do you? An old Ratchet? No. We want to progress and always move forward, and I kind of wanted the comic face. I know a lot of people say the cartoon face. You know, those people, they're not really purists, but are trying to get there. I wanted the comic face, and I liked the option. I would have liked the idea that Hasbro was in a situation where it could give two heads. Instead of being complete wankers, would release this, and then release the comic or cartoon face a year later. You know, and that would have been just like awesome, because we've seen it there with the troop builders. We have got the technology to remove heads and and replace them. And that would have made it just a super epic toy and kept everyone delighted and a little Jamie happy. But the other reason I died inside is basically you've got the epic G.I. Joe toy photographer taking these photos. And I don't know. I always had this sort of like little notion. It was a stupid notion, but I thought if I keep trying to do, maybe one day I'll get to do like one Transformer, and blah blah blah. You know, living delusions. But you know, this is Matthew Cohen's work. I think he's shooting the galaxy as his tagline on Twitter and Instagram. He's a phenomenal photographer, so I'm just like, oh fuck, you know, he's just epic. You can see it in his style, the way it comes across. People talk about the way he's throwing the cage and stuff like that, and so yeah, a little bit died, but that's just me. That's no one else ready for me.
I mean, it's still a valid point. It's I mean, it's not massively valid, but it's a valid point. I think the face sculpt thing you have mentioned as well. I mean, that's the thing. I haven't seen a lot of complaints about it, but I have seen a few people who were a bit unhappy that it was the toy head sculpt instead of the cartoon-esque head sculpt. I don't remember him. The comic book is different to the cartoon, isn't it? It's not got a faceplate, but it looks different, doesn't it?
It looks slightly big, different in the sense he's a bigger bot, you know, and he's got a much more of a presence about him. Where In the cartoon, it was a bit off. He was much smaller. For some reason, they were going for the really aesthetic in his voice and everything he looked like. You know,
yeah.
But
It's interesting that this is leader price point. And I mean, it is supposed to be a bit bigger, isn't it? I think it's 7.5 inches, they're saying, in robot mode. Although his backpack probably adds a good 1.5 inches on there. And comes with a few accessories. Gun, little gun, which reminds me of a gun from one of the other toys. I'm trying to remember which one. And the cage, which is like, you know, nice little thing.
Is he trapping humans or something? Because he's not going to catch
we don't know. This is where there's a bit of speculation, right? Well, what's the cage to trap? Because there he is, chucking the cage. Is he trapping something, or is it to like rescue?
It should be that little fire beast from the Transformers UK Marvel comic story. Remember this? Fire starter thing.
Fire starter, yeah. Oh, yeah, that would be kind of cool if we got that in something. But they'll stick that in a different box set, like the cartoon one or comic book head style one.
Yeah. So that's not a cage. It's more like something that could have been a mace or a fail, isn't it? He's just lobbing at people's heads.
It'd be a funny kind of mace, I mean, they describe it as a cage. So, and as we say, it becomes part of the Dune buggy roll cage, which
maybe he's going around rounding up all the GoBot fans and getting rid of them.
Justified work, and we applaud him for it.
Yeah.
Do you agree with what some people have said about it being a little bit top heavy, the legs being a bit thin? I mean, he's got good feet for balancing, at least.
You know what? It's like complaining why it's a bit too orange. I think we are. I'm happy for what it is. It's got two modes which look sweet, I think I'm wondering if they can de-escalate or remove some of that sort of kibble, that backpack, make it a bit more fine or finesse, whatever, streamlined. But I'm actually quite happy for what it is, and it'll be different. I want to get it in hand because the Ultra Magnus Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus, which I own, that was horrendous when you first saw the pictures.
Yeah, they weren't the best, were they?
Or it was just an awesome bot. But this guy, I mean, look at that. It's just beautiful pictures, and it's not fair, Andy. It's not fair.
I'd look. I mean, that effect he's got for the kind of volcanic rock underneath him and the kind of glow. That's excellent as well. There might just be a spotlight looking at the light. Is he just a spotlight? Either way, it looks really good. What was the name of the photographer again? Just so we can
Shooting the Galaxy. That's his sort of like tagline, which you'll find in Instagram and Twitter. And his name's Matthew Cohen, I think. Cohen, Cohen.
Right. Anyway, there's the helicopter mode. I mean, you've always got the thing with the triple changer that you're usually sacrificing at least one of the alternate modes for something. I think they all look decent. Yeah, they all look pretty good. I'm intending to get this. I like the toy head. Sorry to those of you who don't, but I do. Hopefully they'll re-release, like Jamie said, a selects version or something with the other head. Oh no, and then that takes them to the next news.
I hope they just swap the head. Swap the head now. Just bring disappointment to that fandom. But I think they should just package another head or something like that.
We should say $54.99 is the American price in dollars, so usually we just get it equated straight over to us. So 55 quid, and no release date as of yesterday.
I would say with the price, stop moaning about the price being just a swap of the dollar sign and stuff. I mean, America, you get freaking taxes. The different states have different taxes. So you can work out maybe a bit cheaper, a couple of pounds, or more expensive. They also don't have the same customer rights, the same customer services we do. And, they don't have things like the NHS.
So, this is true.
Yeah. And they have a hell of a lot of problems over there, which we are fully aware of. So, yeah.
Just so you know, I was just checking the notes again, and that's called a rescue stretcher, is the official name from...
Who the hell's going to fit in that?
So it's not necessarily meant to be a weapon, but it could be used as one. You could definitely see it being used as one.
Yeah.
Right. So then there was this, which was this a surprise? I don't think we knew.
It was a genuine surprise for me because when I first saw it, I thought, "Oh, is that third party doing a sort of cheeky Grimlock?"
I wasn't sure because it was literally first glance. I wasn't sure if that was actually the Studio Series Grimlock or if they'd done a new mold of Grimlock in these colors. But obviously, we now know it is the repainted Studio Series one. But the first glance was, oh, is this a new Grimlock? And so, anyway, for those who don't know, this is the comic book kind of tribute versions of Grimlock and Shockwave that we're getting, which, as you can see from the box art, hark back to the G1 original Marvel comics from the 80s and are repainted as such. So we've got Siege Shockwave and we've got Studio Series Grimlock in these colors. Good news for anyone who didn't pick up a Grimlock or a Shockwave back in the day when they were available. One or two people again, a little bit annoyed regarding... Oh, they come with a comic book, I believe. A little bit annoyed regarding the extra bits you get with Grimlock. So you know what you get with Grimlock, don't you, Jamie?
Is it like because it's got some extra swords?
It's got literally Slag's sword, Sludge's sword, and Grimlock's sword. But there's somebody pointed out on Twitter a really interesting little bit about the sword that's Grimlock's sword. If it might be able to see it on the photos as we go through. It's got a chip in it, which harkens back to when he fought Blaster. Remember when he had the battle with Blaster on the moon for the lead? And if you look at the pictures that Jose Delbo, who sadly passed away this week, that he drew it with the chip in the sword. So just one of those random cosmic things in the universe, I suppose, that it just happens to kind of be revealed, obviously, when we've unfortunately lost Jose Delbo. But yeah, so that's why it's got the chip in it. But yes, people annoyed that they're going to have to buy this now necessarily to get the swords. But then...
You'd have had colors. To buy third party. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I said at the time. Is you've got to buy a third-party add-on kit to get them anyway. So you may as well buy this, sell your other one if you don't want it, or have two. So you can have the Dinobot mode Grimlock and have, you know, one of them in robot mode as well. I'm not sure about the color scheme on the Shockwave.
I honestly don't mind it. I'm just thinking about the Shockwave. Does that mean a lot of people might be cancelling the free pack which you ordered?
Well,
the Takara 3 pack.
The Takara 3 pack doesn't come with Optimus Prime's head, at least not as far as we know. They do come with the comic books, which we've already said. They do come in this lovely window box packaging, so you don't have to take them out if you want to keep them. If you're a mint in box collector, you'll be very happy about that, although it's a bit boring. Get them out and play with them. Yeah, what do you think? I mean, I'm assuming, Jamie, because you're a big G1
I'm definitely going to get it, but I'm also going to take, I don't know, I'm some sort of devilish pleasure out of all the people who bought up the Shockwave, especially when they could get them for $5. Then they would post in the forums and go, oh, how much is this worth, guys? When they knew damn fucking well how much it was worth. And watch them trying to be selling these things for like 60 or 70 quid when I'm like, no, hold your money, get the better Shockwave now, even from the triple pack or from this comic tribute pack. You know, don't go for yesterday's news with the battle damage and the fucking pish glider, you know.
Oh, you get the crown, obviously. That's the other little accessory you get with Grimlock. And there you can see the chip in the sword, which harks back to that bit of artwork. So
is it really I mean, Grimlock's sword used to had a longer bit to the top, didn't it?
Well, somebody's done a comparison with a picture of the sword on Twitter. I'll find it for you, Jamie, and send you the picture. So
I've got it in my memory. My memory's like
mind blown. He does still come with a gun that he came with originally. Obviously, it's a different paint job. And so yeah, there is a few more photos. We got some more recent photos. I've tagged them onto the end because they kind of came in a little bit later. So then Hasbro did this whole big announcement about how, because it's the 40th anniversary, as well as those lovely figures, they're also going to do a whole plethora of merchandise, and we just have photos of some of it. So Ecto 1 in apparently Optimus Prime colors. Anybody excited about that one, Jamie?
Between you and me, I'll pick my guts up. That just looks awful. But for everyone else who's watching, oh, that looks awesome, guys. Yeah.
Thank God we kept that between us.
Yeah. It's just a secret between us two. Yeah, I like this. This is good.
Yeah, I think it looks nice, but again, it's the non-transforming kind of die-cast models, isn't it?
Looks nice in the sense that your 4-year-old drew you a picture and you went, yeah, that looks nice.
And you want to say to the colours are wrong. But yeah, I can see people buying it. There seems to be a collector's market for these vehicles. And of course, as well as doing that version, they've also done Optimus Prime's cab, at least. So these are non-transforming. So yeah,
that's not too bad actually. That's not too bad.
And then you can get some lovely Transformers headphones. I don't have immediately to hand the name of the company. I'll see if I can find it from somewhere. But seriously, the raft of information that came with this was just too much for me to kind of.
I've got an official Transformers chair right behind me, so I am one to get into the merchandise.
Yeah, well, some lovely headphones. You can get the good ones, which is the Decepticon ones, and T-shirts. So many T-shirt designs. Any of these, as we click through, stand out for you, Jamie?
Well, the first one stood out. This one stands out. This one stands out.
Just in case we never knew that it was 40 years. Bit of comic artwork for you there.
Yeah, that stands out as well. I quite like all these stuff, you know.
Bit of sideswipe action. We could, Paul.
That's the one maybe I don't like.
Box art. Not a fan of the box art style there.
Yeah, it just looks. No, I don't like it.
Ish.
No, I would say that level. I'm just
not that level of porn.
I think it's one good to have.
That's a more modern take, obviously, on Optimus.
That's the Leonardo da Vinci thing, isn't it? With all the arms. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah. What's it called? There's something.
How could you fuck up that picture with?
Yeah,
but you know what? The artist who's done that, you're superb. Much better than I could have done.
A nice plain one with just the 40 years.
I like that
symbol. Box art again.
Some of the best box art. I can't believe how old that box art is. Literally, it's like 40 years, isn't it?
I like this one. You know what would have been really cool? I mean, this is still cool. It would have been really cool if you could like pick which 9 bots you wanted on there, and they like had a selection you could pick from, so you could get it a little bit more personalized.
Could you imagine?
Oh, it'd be a nightmare for them, but I'm thinking more from.
You know how you used to have T-shirts which you could press buttons on, and it would make you sound. That would have been cool. You could go, play me.
They say their mottos in correct voices. That would have been lovely. I like that one. Rolling out for 40 years. And there's loads, by the way. This isn't even all of them. It might seem like, God, you're going through a lot of photos. This isn't nowhere near all of them. And then a trading card. Well, I don't know if it's a game. It's certainly collector's trading cards. So they are being released, as you can see, from, I presume, the company's called Dynamite. And you can buy the complete Series 1 sets, which suggests there's going to be more than one series of these. 110 base cards, 5 rare foil cards, and 2 foil packs. So, like our friend Drew said, does this mean you can basically just buy them all up in one go then? And it would appear yes. It would appear that is the case.
And I'm happy for that.
Yeah, I don't want to have to try and search around for it. That's going to be a bloody nightmare.
It's not. I mean, can you imagine how many of us would be arrested going to playgrounds trying to trade this stuff?
Well, I mean, I'd be going to work. It wouldn't do you too much of a problem. What have you got? What do you mean you don't have any Transformers trading cards? There you go. An example of some of the cards. You see a lot of it seems to be the artwork and the comic book artwork as well. And then we've got a couple of examples of the actual packaging. Even the packaging looks cool. That's the thing. I was kind of all these merchandise things, these trading cards were possibly the one I got most excited about. It was like, oh, this is going to be cool. Yeah, remember that picture? That's how old I am. With his weird eyes. It's a great, great artwork, but I always wonder why they drew his eyes like that. And there's Metroplex and Superion there. And another Metroplex. Why not have 2? At the end of the day. Beautiful stuff. And a super-size colouring activity book, just like back in the day.
That for all us Alexis. People. We know how much Alexis loves this stuff.
Colouring
so happy.
Inside the lines, Alexis.
He'll be skipping away.
Next time he tries to break the speakers out at TFN, here, have your colouring book, Alexis.
Use your crayons.
Don't eat them. Right. Anyway, so that's coming as well. I think Marvel books, it says in the corner as well. So I am excited to see this stuff. And this is potentially just the tip of the iceberg. There could be a lot more to come. Just to finish off then, we had a few more photos of Grimlock and Shockwave. So, yeah.
I mean, you could see the difference in these photos, can't you? The toy photography here, what he's trying to do and stuff. You can see when the special effects he was using for Sandstorm, you know, the helicopter rotors moving around, you know, looking from above, looking down below. Yeah, we haven't had that in Transformer toy photography in a long time, where your G.I. Joe, your Marvel, and your Star Wars stuff have had that, because it's been people like him doing that type of photography. So he hopes to be doing more Transformer type photography, which just means that I'll be looking at epic stuff now, and I'll go, oh well.
Tell him not to, and tell him to send them your way instead. The paintwork gives it a different look, you know, slightly different look for the dinosaur.
Vicious rumor he's a GoBot fan. See that builds up.
I mean, we're not that cruel. Come on, Jimmy. It just reminds you of how good that Studio Series Grimlock is looking at, and I do think the new colours do definitely give it that. You know, there will be people who've already got this mold, probably have the what was the yellow kind of tiger stripes one as well.
Yeah,
we'll go and get this as well, because it is a very, very good version of Grimlock.
I mean, it's really nice, but I remember that the thing was, he wasn't really blue in the comics. He was still black. It's they used the blue ink to bring out the highlights of what was meant to be black, you know. And the thing is, in a lot of characters when they did that, they ended up changing the costumes to becoming blue eventually. Because I think Spider-Man started off with a sort of black costume, and the blue was to highlight the black, and then eventually they all thought it was blue and red anyhow. I mean, obviously comic book experts will probably know the truth behind that.
I'm sure you're right. This is the side of the box that was pointed out, that you can put them side by side, each of their boxes, and it forms this little picture of Shockwave and Grimlock fighting, which we know they did
Shockwave
historically,
with a different color to what the toy has. Well,
yes,
the light. Yeah.
And then it's shaded. Well, I suppose they're trying to get across, aren't they? That kind of the reflection in the metal and everything. We see it on here, and that's what we're seeing on the toy.
Yeah.
So there they are in battle, recreating that little battle scene, which is really cool. I think.
But I mean, that is like the cartoon color Shockwave. So it's almost like saying, "Hey, here's Sandstorm. We're going to do an original toy deco, comic book Shockwave. Guess what, guys? We're going to do it in cartoon color to fuck you over." You know?
Isn't that usually the way? I mean, it's Hasbro. Yeah. This is what we do. We should be used to it by now. There's the Optimus Prime head again. With that was from, wasn't that from the comics when Shockwave had his head and was using it to access the secrets and everything? Was he trying
the creation matrix, as they call
it?
Yes,
that's the one. Yeah.
The new generations of Transformers giving life to the Constructicons and the likes of Jetfire, and then Dirge Ramjet, and who's the other one? Dirge Ramjet and
Dirge Ramjet and Thrust.
Yeah,
I mean, I like it. It is just the Siege Shockwave toy again with a different paint job. I do like it. I just don't know. I mean, that is, I believe, £40 for the Shockwave pack, and then I think it's 60 for the Grimlock. So slightly above, obviously, what would be your normal kind of Voyager and Leader price point. But it's an exclusive. It's going to be probably one of those things that if you don't buy it, that's it. They sell out and they're gone. I don't think these will be the kind of things that will be shelf warming a lot. And then there's the question of where they get stocked, obviously, that we have over here.
I mean, I just want them to bring up some human characters. If anyone was watching the show, like, was it 2 episodes back when we discussed our favorite, you know, Transformer cartoons or Transformer lore, we discussed briefly about why Transformers evolved, and it was to do with the creation matrix, and it was to do with the fact that Optimus Prime didn't want to have like super robots, but they had been stagnant for like 4 million years plus. And then it was maybe the human involvement, which we discussed, you know, the likes of Buster moving forward, that sort of Transformer type evolution.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the comic book continuity, of course. But yeah, it'd be interesting it would have been interesting to get some human figures. I wonder if we might still get that. Will these be the only ones we'll get? Surely not. Surely if this, especially if this sells well, we'll get other comic book styles.
I mean, I kind of want stuff like Deathhead and Centurion, and I think when I think about Centurion, was it Professor Morris? He was like maybe the first one to be sort of in a sort of symbiotic relationship with a Transformer. You know, we
Yeah,
probably
he
had
was,
more control. You know, very much like me and my Transformer Grimlock Roboson figure, which I've got.
Have you got the Roboson Grimlock, Jamie? I've not
Yes,
heard you mention it.
I'm like the Robot Master. You know, so yeah.
Anyway, so that's basically it. That was quite big news, I think, wasn't it? And that's why we kind of wanted to get out there and let people have a look at it who might somehow have missed this in the Transformers community. You might have done, and a chance for you to give your thoughts as well and have a look.
I think it looks quite nice in the box. I actually think for people who like to display things in box or open, that actually makes a good piece. And
Yeah,
I could see with me, I've got a myriad of Grimlocks I could use now. I could see me keeping that in the box. I mean, I would try to inspect it as much as I can, but for me, it looks quite cool. Shockwave, I think I'd be really tempted to actually get him out of the box. You know, it might be one of those ones where I might want to buy two. But again, because he just looks really quite awesome.
I know some people have suggested we might get as another like pairing, Blaster and Soundwave in the Marvel comic style. I think Soundwave appeared in at least one issue and he looked purple. And he didn't have a faceplate, and Blaster obviously had a different style head, didn't he? Even in the Marvel comic, he had that little bit of not a visor as such, but more like goggles, I suppose.
Yeah, it was more like, you know, like a frame, didn't he? Had like a frame over his
glasses. Yeah. He wore glasses. You see, all the cool people wearing.
Maybe Blaster, that's why I didn't feel represented with Blaster.
There you go.
It's quite exciting news, and it's good for people who enjoy this stuff. It's good for the people who are genuinely happy. And I think it's always about something different and moving forward, and that's the way you've got to look at it. And be happy for the people in the community. And it's weird. I never used to be like that. It's not something I used to think about as such, because you're always quite self-centered naturally, aren't you, when it's about what you want to collect and what I want. But now you're starting to think, no, because this is good, and you know, we've had some great stuff. Some other people have not been happy. I don't know. I like it. I like the fact that they thought of about Optimus Prime's head. I mean, that's quite cool.
Yeah, that's a nice little nod. And obviously you get the comic book issue. So like I said, I think this will be popular. I think this will be something people will want to collect. And hopefully we'll see a few more of them. And for those people who weren't happy about the HasLab not being G1, I mean, we've got a hell of a lot of G1 stuff here. I mean, you know.
Yeah, we did suggest there's going to be a HasLab equivalent, de facto HasLab for G1 coming out. Similar price range, we bet.
And there you go. There's the two of them side by side. So yeah, that's it. I think, Jamie, that's everything we were going to cover. Obviously, we will show some of these photos again on Friday, and we will go over the rest of the news as well.
I mean, there's the sort of like the Shockwave cover they used, but for the UK people, we had a Transformers toy which was specified for the UK market, and that'd be the comic cover they'd be using, because that was the one when we actually saw the head. But because Marvel USA was doing its own thing at that time, the comics were combined.
Yeah. I've just seen Vaults of Icons reissue the Soundwave Design Center. I remember that. I didn't have that, but one of my friends did. Let's do some art, baby.
And I've got to say, apart from obviously the Casbah Wildlife, that was one of my least favorite comic covers of the Dinobots. There's been so many epic, you know, Dinobot covers. That was one of my least favorite, but still brilliant.
Do you remember when you used to get the little Cadbury's chocolate bar stuck on the front free? I love it. I loved all that stuff. The little freebies. And no, Mick, not poor Alexis. He's on a bloody skiing holiday, for Christ's sake. Trust me, he ain't poor. Anyway, right. I think that's everything, isn't it, Jamie?
I just wanted to see if I could grab some more comments there. Yeah, we've had that up there. Poor Alexis comment. Why poor Alexis?
Why just because. Mick, there you go, Mick. I gave you it back. Yes. So no, in case anybody's wondering why it's just the two of us, obviously Paul, Pete working, Ian traveling back from his holiday, I believe. Lovely for him. I know he's had a good time. And Alexis on his holiday until next week. He's not here this Friday, is it? It's next week he's back.
Oh, so. You can never say no to Alexis.
I know. He'll appear on piste as he's going down the hill. And when I say piste, I mean pieced out of his tiny mind. No, I'm sure he'll be fine.
It is exciting news, isn't it? It's wonderful stuff, and it makes me think what other new stuff there, because I did not imagine we were going to have a comic book Grimlock and a comic book Shockwave coming out like this.
Yeah, and RJ joining the chat late. Nice to see you, RJ.
RJ was here early. He was.
Hey, and Vaults of Icon is letting us know that the Collector's Archive is back tomorrow night with Alexis. Oh my word! There's viewing for us all.
Alexis did say that was the best show you said there ever had been with him. In fact, you told Alexis that everyone else you'd interviewed was poor in comparison.
Is this what Alexis told you?
Told us all. But yes, I will look forward to watching that.
Yeah, definitely. Right, let's wrap it up then, Jamie.
Sorry,
I'll let you wrap it.
Oh, well, as I can say, thank you for joining for this little brief interlude even into Transformers news. And it's wonderful. Sandstorm, Grimlock, Shockwave, wonderful t-shirts. Get in. Fantastic. Have a good week. See you Friday. Bye.